Welcome to the Autosport YouTube channel. I'm Glenn Freeman, editor of Autosport.com, and alongside me is Kevin Turner, Autosport magazine editor, and possibly the most excited man in the world about what we're about to talk to you about, which is the Autosport Formula One Car World Cup. Kev, you've been very excited by this. Before we get into explaining what it is, you want to tell people how brilliant it is?
Well, I love lists for a start.
That's true.
And I love looking at old stuff. So a list of old Formula One cars where people get to decide what's their favourite. I mean, it's the greatest social media campaign of all time, isn't it?
I think so, it is. We're here today to do the draw for the semi-final. We've got 8 cars left, but we'll talk you through how we got this far. So we started off with the Autosport office, members of the Autosport Academy, our junior programme, and then anyone unfortunate enough to follow me on Twitter was asked to give a list of their 6 favourite F1 cars. In any order, it didn't matter, any cars from the start of the World Championship in 1950 to today. We had something like 180 cars were nominated in total, and the top 32 were put into a group stage draw like you'd have in a World Cup. So we had 8 groups, and the winner of each of those groups has gone through to this stage where we're going to do a very, very high-tech draw. But first, we'll quickly run you through the results of the group stages, and we'll bring them up on screen for you. Kev, where should we start? Should we start with Group A, perhaps?
I think
Dominant
we
win
should
for the
start with
Brawn.
Group A. Yeah, absolutely. It's a comfortable win, wasn't it? 43%, 13% over the MP416 McLaren.
I guess that's quite a quirky, cool car because it was a one-off. It was we lost Honda over the winter, and then we thought people like Jenson Button and Rubens Barrichello were out of a drive, and then it comes in and dominates the start of the season. But looking across the groups, we'll run you through the winners very quickly. The Ferrari 641, one of my favourite cars of all time, only just beat the Lotus 72 though.
They were both on my list,
Yeah.
so I was disappointed they were in the same group. But
Yeah.
it was nice to see that the Lotus 72 got a third of the vote in that group, but it was just pipped by the 641, which is the 1990 Ferrari, isn't it? Which,
gorgeous car.
Which is fantastic.
In Group C, I think no real surprise with the winner here. Many people's favourite to win the whole thing, actually. The McLaren MP4, absolutely dominant. The first real sleek F1 car of its time, you could say. Great to see in Group D not a race-winning car that's come through and won that. The very popular Jordan 191.
Yeah, you look at the car, it's beaten into second place as well, which is a championship-winning Williams, the FW18, and but it's such a cool. It was a great car to come into Formula One with, wasn't it, for Jordan? And it had that great 7-Up livery as well, so it just looked really cool.
Absolutely brilliant. Group E is a great one. If you're looking at the screen now, you'll see we had a tie there. The Williams FW15C, the 1993 car, Alain Prost's last championship winning car, and the Renault R26, which is Fernando Alonso's last World Championship winning car. It feels like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Those two tied, so we basically sent them to extra time, and they had an extra hour, they were head to head, then the Williams came out on top. So if that happens again in the semi-finals, we'll do the same thing again. So look out for the vote finishing if there's a tie, and you'll get an extra hour to possibly have your say and sway the vote. Group F, Williams FW14B. I wonder if there's a car that can beat the 88 McLaren, maybe it's this one, particularly in Williams' 40th anniversary year. That car's back on track this year. We've had Kareem Chandok's driven it a few times, and it's a brilliant car that's sort of been away for a little while and is now back. I wonder if that's got a chance.
I hope so. I think probably if I had to choose between those two, I would edge towards the Williams.
Same,
probably. Yeah.
Not that we're trying to influence.
No, absolutely. But I just think it looked a little bit cool, and also with the red 5 on the nose as well.
Exactly.
Pretty
we may be Nigel Mansell fans of old.
Yeah.
Last two groups, Group G, the McLaren MP420 didn't win the World Championship, did win Autosport Racing Car of the Year, I believe, at the Autosport Awards that year. Raikkonen and Montoya won a lot of races in 2005 with that car, but it was a bit unreliable to begin with, but it's beaten the Ferrari 640, which is of course the predecessor to the car that won Group B. And that's a pretty high percentage, actually, 42%.
I was a little bit surprised by that, to be honest, but I guess it's one of those. I think it's all tied up with old Raikkonen should have won the championship with McLaren, and it didn't happen. And to be honest, even with the reliability, he probably would have won it had he not had Fernando Alonso putting in one of the great seasons for Renault.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you say you're surprised by a relatively modern car winning. That's because you're a big fan of old stuff, so you must be
Fair.
disappointed at how maybe some of the older cars have performed in this. Some of them were certainly nominated by you, Kev.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we've talked about the late 72 just missing out from Group B, but I'm
Yeah.
not too offended by it being beaten by the 1990 Ferrari. And then the Tyrrell 006, I'm surprised actually got within 1% of the 1995 Ferrari in Group H.
Yeah, so Group H with 4 hours to go was a tie as well. I thought we were heading for another tie break, and the 95 Ferrari, the last V12 Ferrari, of course, snuck ahead by 1% in those final 4 hours. So that's won Group H, and that is our final semi-final contender. So I say let's get on with the draw. Now, this, as I said, very high tech. Kev, you're going to be pulling the teams out of the hat and compiling our 2 groups for the semi-final stage. And while only the group winners went through here, the top 2 from each group will go through to the final. And once again, you can see this on the Autosport Twitter page, twitter.com/Autosport. So look out for it over the next couple of days. So Kev, let's have the first team into the semi-finals.
Cool. First car is the Williams FW15C.
So that's the Prost car, the one that won on a tie-break actually. So this is perhaps where the Renault R26 could have been if it had performed better in extra time. Joining that in semi-final 1, Kev?
Oh, the McLaren P44.
You'd have to say it's the favourite, so it's up against Williams versus McLaren already.
Well, we've got 2 Williams, 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, and 2 first cars from a manufacturer in our winners list. Which
Well
is
spotted.
So, oh, the FW14B.
Wow. So it's the McLaren versus the 92 and the 93 Williams.
The 2 that we talked about as potentially being the outright winners.
And the final car in the first semi-final.
Is the Brawn.
Perhaps the surprise dominant winner of the opening group. So that is a fierce semi-final. And for the sake of completion, we'll pull out the remaining 4 cars that complete the second semi-final.
So the MP420,
The 2005 McLaren.
the 95 Ferrari,
Yeah, that's a dark horse, I think. It's got V12 engine, the famous Jean Alesi win in Canada, but I think it's got its work cut out here.
yeah, not the 90 Ferrari, of course,
Yep.
and the 91 Jordan.
So there we have it. There are our 2 semi-finals. As I said, keep an eye out for the polls going live on Twitter. And 4 teams from this group of 8 will go through to the final. And we will let you know after the final how it's all gone. So keep an eye on the Autosport Twitter page. We are at Autosport on Twitter. And make sure you get involved and have your say. And so your car wins.